Hi, I'm Shannon with Windblown Ideas, and I'm going to show you how to shape my 6-inch ball peony paper flower. The SVG and tools are available in my shop, and there's also a paper flower toolkit that includes all of the tools. Check the description for a link showing how to color this with PanPastel. I like to shape the center first. This size of peony will use 3 center strips. You can stack the 3 strips on top of each other and attach them with some clips and shape them all at the same time. Use a wooden skewer or paintbrush handle and bend the tips back and forth. I only bend over the tallest ones. I don't get all of them. And I just grab a few and go this way and that way along the whole strip. I glue the 3 strips together. And then I roll it up with a quilling tool. You want to try to keep the bottom as level as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I add a little dot of glue after I get it started, and then I won't add any more glue until I get to the very end. If it's not flat on the bottom, put it on the desk and give it a few taps. There are 5 layers of petals, and we'll start with the bottom layer first. The first layer will be shaped in the large metal cup. I start at the top and gently apply pressure around the top edge of the petal, working my way down, not pushing too hard as I start, trying not to cause really large creases. Sometimes that happens, especially as you get tighter, but this is the most open of all the petals, and I'll just keep working my way around the petal, eventually applying firm pressure on the entire surface of the petal so that it takes on the rounded shape of the mold. We want the second layer shaped a little tighter, so we're going to shape it in 2 cups. We'll start again with the large metal cup and then shape it again in the medium metal cup. We want our petals to start to get a little more rounded, so we will shape all of those in the medium cup just to make them a little tighter. Apply firm pressure on the entire surface and flatten any creases that start to appear, and there will be more folds and creases. And when you're done with the flower, you'll see that that's really what makes it look more realistic and really pretty. There's no way to turn a flat piece of paper into a round ball without having creasing and folds. On the third layer, we want even more shape, so we're going to use all 3 metal molds. You'll need to use your fingers to press the petal into the smallest cup. The 4th layer is made with 3 cups, starting with the medium metal cup, moving it to the small metal cup, and then we'll finish this off in the first plastic cup. The last layer will be shaped very tightly, starting in the small metal cup and then the 2 largest plastic molds. And you're going to have to stuff it in pretty tightly. There will definitely be more creasing and folding than in the previous layers. This is also how you would shape a bud to go with this flower, using 1 or 2 layers of the smallest layer of the flower and shaping it into a very tight ball. Now we have 5 layers of shaped petals, and it's time to cup the center of these before we assemble them into the flower. The first layer doesn't need any cupping, so we can just set it aside. The second layer needs very minimal cupping, just bringing it in a little bit. The third layer, we want to bring it in more, so I apply pressure from the base of the petal toward the center. I do it twice on each petal. Also apply a circular motion in the very center, and that helps bring it all up. I also evenly layer the petals around each other. We apply even more pressure to the top 2 layers, making them pretty tight balls. I'll add some bind wire to the calyx before I assemble the flower on a DIY paper flower tool. I use a fine tip glue to attach each layer, applying enough glue to make good contact, but not so much that it seeps out in between. Be sure to offset your layers, and we get closer to the top, like the top 3 layers. You want the glue to be very close to the center circle. If the glue is too far away from the center, it will actually pull down some of the rounding that we have shaped. The shaping sticks help you to apply pressure just on the glue without smushing things with your fingers. We can do a little shaping to the center before we glue it in place. I just grab a few bits on the outside edge and pull them away from the center and continue going around until you have it pulled out and shaped as much as you want it. Remove the flower from the paper flower tool before we move the center in place. I apply a generous amount of glue to the backside. I like to use Turbo Tacky glue. It's a little thicker than the glue I attach the rest of the flower with because it has less chance of running and getting on the petals when you insert it. So I just add a generous amount while I'm holding it with tweezers. Open up the center of the flower and place it in and apply firm pressure so that you know it's making good contact with the paper. Shape the calyx with a ribbon curl technique once you have assembled the flower, and you can curl it either up or down depending on how you're using the flowers, and you can always change it. You can go from up to down. The paper will follow whichever way that you shape it.